please join me to welcome Miss Shelley Armato. Hi, Shelley. Welcome.
Hello. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for being on the show. And I know you are an amazing person. And, when I met you at the Inspiring Speakers Workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way you lead people and the way you, deal with the people. And it was just very impressive. I am very impressed.
Well, we were sitting in a restaurant. Remember, I hadn't had a shower, and I saw you walk in. I'm like, hey, come here. I want to talk to you. And I was just so amazed at you. You have the most amazing, inspirational, courageous story of any woman I've ever met in my whole entire life. So the pleasure is mine to be able to be a part of your show.
Wow. Thank you. And but this is a show for about the youth stories. So tell me a little bit about yourself, and briefly including your childhood and the childhood dreams.
Okay. So the best way to describe my childhood was that I was raised with a family of eye rollers. Everybody rolled their eyes at me. They're like, oh, Shelley, what are you going to do next? I mean, you can't do that. It was just a very negative environment. I had a lot of challenges. Oh, my gosh, I had absolutely no belief in myself. I just felt like a very lonely child. And so I spent my whole life looking for other men to come into my life that rolled their eyes at me also, because that meant I love you. And it was in 1991 that I found myself single with 3 children and no child support, and I didn't attend college because in college I always wanted the professor to show me his checkbook, because I always had the belief that you're not going to teach me until I see where you stand. And so that wasn't very favorable in junior college. But anyway, so I didn't go to college. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always worked for myself. I was a realtor for 15 years. I raised 3 amazing, dynamic, courageous entrepreneurs myself. And it's so amazing because, courage is contagious. I mean, if you have a mama that has courage, then her chickens all have courage. And so I'm watching that right now, which takes my breath away to watch my children. It's just so beautiful. And so anyway, now...
Were you, in your childhood, did you think about you would want to become an entrepreneur, or...
Well, it wasn't a choice because I could never fit into a work environment because I have really high energy, and I have really... I've always been a whale hunter, so that's very intimidating to most people. I mean, even my very first job at Kmart, I wouldn't wear the green jacket, and I was like, I went in and took over this department when I was 17 years old and made it soar. And it was very threatening to my boss because I really was I was shining over her. So I decided early on that, what I had to do was to be able to work for myself, and I've defied every business rule that I mean, business plans, all those things. I'm a visionary. I'm a leader. And the beautiful thing is, Jen, just like meeting you have the same thing. So I love being around eagles. I mean, because eagles, we have to soar together because the chickens are always worried about the storm and the economy and all those things. So, yeah.
So, what drives you? What makes you get up in the mornings, even today or these days?
Well, my 3 children. I mean, watching them I'm always going to be an example to them, to show them that no matter what the circumstances, you get up and you put your best foot forward. And I always say, do it afraid or fake it till you make it. And then you have to find courage within yourself to move those things forward. So, my 2 grandchildren, they are exceptionally brilliant. So. I have to now, my goal now is to be able to be in a place where I can afford to send them to the colleges and the schools that they are going to be able to attend, because I now have these amazing grandchildren. So I get up every morning with energy and zest to be able to live my life, and it's so exciting.
Yeah. The company you've created and the Marathon Digital Services, and, your My Smart Plans, it sounds so interesting. And what is so how did you start it?
Yeah, well, I have an amazing husband. This is my 3rd marriage, and that's mind-boggling in itself. But 10 years ago, I met this man that saw in me what I always wanted someone to see in me. And we signed a prenuptial agreement that said that whenever he had $10 million in the bank, I would have him a baby. So I can definitely see I'm going to have to get an attorney to get out of that prenuptial agreement because I'm not having any more kids, Dominic. But we he was a commercial painting contractor here in Kansas City, and he had the largest company in commercial painting contracting, and we focused on all the problems of him, how he bid his work, and how everything was all these silos of information that he needed, but he could never get his hands on it. And so we changed the whole system. So now we're managing $4 billion in life projects. We're impacting the world, the whole construction industry. I mean, it is amazing. We just met with the Air Force, the Department of Defense, Balfour Beatty, J.E. Dunn we're on their standard operating procedure. We have impacted the world, and our company just now is 4 years old.
Wow. And how did you know all those and to create that?
Well, it's really weird. You know, you spoke earlier about my relationship with God. I believe that that I was ordained to be a problem solver. And so everything I've ever done has been about problem solving. And so I'm just very always focused on the problem, because if I focus on the problem, then I know what I need to do. And if I'm always superficially focusing on something that's not there, then I never get results. So him and I were we're determined. We're going to do something about this. And so we started in a 700 square foot garage with $15,000. And now we have a 10,000 square foot facility. We have 15 full-time employees, and we're hiring. We grew 55% last year alone, and next year we're expecting our company to triple in size.
Wow.
And they tell us the economy's down, but I don't read the paper.
So you don't need to, I guess.
Well, I mean, what's the point? I was just going to tell you it's bad news. So I don't listen to the news, and I don't read the paper.
Wow, you're better than me. I mean, I can't stand without knowing what's going on.
Yeah, well, that's because you're going to be the Secretary of State. I mean, you have to know what's going on.
Right. And so what are your core beliefs in building a strong business?
Well, first is attitude. First of all, if you have a great attitude, you can do anything. And so I want to see what your attitude is. I want to know what your belief is. Do you feel like you're a lucky person, or do you feel like that you're never going to win? Because if you're never going to win, I don't want you in my life. And like I said earlier, I'm sure that there's a business school that I could have gone to do something that would have been by the rules, but basically, we do everything that no one else does. We hire the people that just got out of college that have never had a job and bring them in and culture them into our environment. And I mean, it sounds really weird, but we treat our business like a family. I mean, this is our because this is my grandchildren's inheritance. So this is my family. Don't jag with my family, and it works. Yeah,
that's great. And you said that in the beginning earlier, your family was kind of working against you, more or less, in the earlier childhood or earlier times. And so, how did your family affect your business decisions?
Well, I had to take my eyes off of my family because I kept on trying to seek their approval. And as long as I was doing that, I would never get anywhere because then you're seeking everyone's approval. So I took my eyes off of my family, put my eyes on God, and the results have been amazing. I have some relationship with my family now, but it's, I was written out of 2 wills because I was a woman. I mean, I was raised in a very small I was born in a very small southern town that women are less than the dirt under your shoes. And, I was a woman, so, that my grandfathers, who were both entrepreneurs, wrote the women out of their wills. And I'm like, well, great, I don't need your money. That's what's so hallelujah. I can go on without it. No one can ever say I started anything with my grandparents' money. No, you can have your money. So it's been a blessing as much as it's been a challenge. But whenever you take your challenges and make them blessings, there's always pearls of wisdom in there. And that's what I've done. I've just focused on the blessings.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. And my parents were, my father always adored me, but my mom always, put us down, and she always said girls are useless and, worthless. But
whatever.
Those 2 combinations actually helped me to become strong inside and, very soft outside. And that strength inside, strong inside and soft outside, and that's a very useful tool in, doing almost anything and everything, really. So I think it's more or less of, how you look at what you have and how you use them for your advantage.
Exactly.
And, outcome is amazingly different.
Yeah. Well, like you said earlier, you can either choose to be positive or negative. I divorced too negative. I mean, I'm like, I can't be around you. I'm not listening. I'm not listening to the sky is falling. The sky is not falling. You know? It was just like, I can't be there.
Well, I guess we still have a lot to talk about, but we have to take a short station break.
Okay.
Yeah. You're listening to Gene Robertson at American Dreams. The sky is the limit. And today we are sharing the important messages from Shelley Armato, best known for her passion to be an all-around people person and her powerful relationship with God. So stay tuned for more wisdom from her. We shall return.